Testing, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Hello, and welcome to the Ninja Robot Studio LLC stream, where I play video games and VR experiences and talk through them from a UX designer's perspective. And I set it up by genre so that I'll play through a genre of a certain type of game. Like I started with tabletop RPGs, and now I'm going through platformers. And what I'm doing is I'll play through a series of platformers, both on the desktop and on VR, to see what can we learn from these games that are already out there to create a great XR experience, like an XR platformer. And so at the end of me playing the games, I will do a round of synthesis on what we've done. So at the end of each game, I'll do a rose thorn bud method, which is what you see in front of you on the screen, and then at the end, after I've played all the games, I'll do a synthesis like this to say, okay, what can we learn from these things? And that's what we're still working on right now. This will be the last episode of this platformers genre. We're just doing some follow-up research on a whole bunch of things that we need to double check to make note of any of the learnings here that I wanted to validate or verify some things first. So that's what we're going to be working on today. And then I highly recommend you to go back and check the series. It will be linked. The playlist videos on demand on YouTube will be linked in the show notes once I post the recording of this one. And you can also check my About section on the Twitch page, and you will see links to the YouTube and all the videos on demand down there. And this process, I talk a lot about the process of the rose thorn bud and how it can help you quickly think through critically of what's going well and what's not going well, and what can we do about it, and what are the next steps of what we can do about it. And so I synthesize this up so that we can figure out, I'm going to create some kind of report from this. And the benefit of doing this method of the rose thorn bud quickly on Post-its is that you have short, concise notes on points, so you don't have a dissertation that you have to read through and highlight and scrub through to get the information you need. It's all here, short, concise, easily digestible, and categorized. What's working, what's not working, what do we do about it? And then what do we need to think about when we're translating this into an XR experience, and what best practices come out of that? So this is just an expanded version of what we do after each individual game. So now we went through and we synthesized all the different games, and now I have to double check some things that came up during the synthesis. So I need to quickly clean this up. So the reason that I stream it and talk out loud and do this is in the hopes that you can follow along and learn this process. And also, if you participate in the chat, you can gain experience, gain practical experience doing this method of research, and which can only help you with your career. So things that I need to check on all games are accessibility, chapter selection, language selection. So this is specifically for Kokoro Clover, so I need to check Kokoro Clover Trine 2. I have some specifically for Trine 2, but then these are for all games. These are for just the 2D games. Load times is all games. Can you pause cutscenes in the story? That's all games. Can you adjust sound settings in? So that's Kokoro Clover and Mariposa. Moss. So I'm only going to be double checking the games that are in 2D because it's going to take a lot of effort to set up the different headsets for and technology for mods. So I'm going to do that offline. And if I had anything on Ghost Giant. So I'm only going to be checking the 2D games today on the stream. These are just general recommended. Those aren't double checks. Okay. This I can't do today because, again, that one is on the PlayStation. It's going to take a time to set that up, so I'll just do that offline. But what I'm going to do with that is, the question was whether or not they show any tooltips, because I could have sworn that I'd seen some tooltips to teach us how to jump and how to turn pages. But when I go back to play it, it doesn't show it. So I'm wondering if it's just remembering that I played it before and it's not showing them. So I have to go reinstall and all that to see if it resets it, to see if there are actually tooltips there. So that's not going to happen on stream, but I will check that. I will try to check that. Or another thing that I could do is just try to find footage on YouTube of someone else playing it to see if the tooltip came up for them. That could happen a couple ways. But it's better to check it yourself in game so that you can check all of the micro interactions while you're doing it. So let's see, let's break this out. So let's follow up on, oh, don't do that. So let's see, we have Mariposa. And we have Trine 2. We have Jivana. And we have Kokoro Clover. And those are the 2D ones, but I am going to go ahead and make room for the VR ones because I do still have to double check those. Ghost Giant. Okay, so now let's see. See about Mariposa. Did I have specific questions about Mariposa? Yes. Can you adjust sound settings in Mariposa? I'm trying to decide how I want to organize this because these are answering questions that came up while we were doing synthesis, whether or not you can adjust sound, because when I write a report, I want to be accurate on how many games let you adjust sound, for example, versus how many don't. And was that a pattern that they were all doing or something that they weren't doing, so that when I write the report, I'm actually correct about it, because it's important to be correct in your reporting. So let me open up Mariposa. Give me a minute. I don't know why I'm logged out of Steam, but for some reason I am. Okay, just loading up Mariposa. Okay. Let me get it showing. Okay, this is the alpha demo again. And to remind myself what the question was, because I've already forgotten, can you adjust the sound settings? Okay. Audio. You can. Yes, you can. Okay. Okay, good. Now, was there... I'm going to go ahead and say... For Mariposa, yes. And was there anything else I need to check on Mariposa? Accessibility on the games. So do they have any accessibility options? So they have audio, but they don't have any kind of options for... They don't have any kind of audio for... or options for adjusting color or anything like that. Of course, again, it is only an alpha, so I wouldn't expect that level of built out on an alpha game. So yes, you can adjust sound settings. Accessibility wise though, here, wrong one, here. So accessibility wise, here, let me see. Here, let's see here. I'm gonna do that. Yes, you can on here. And accessibility on games, none. But it is alpha, so wouldn't expect there to be. Okay, chapter select on games. While we're in Mariposa, is there a chapter select? I don't think so. No. You just pick your save spot. Okay. No, just pick save slot. Okay. Language select. Is there a language select? Let's see. I don't think there was. Hi, Phantom. How are you doing? How's work going? Visuals, no language select. Again, it is only alpha, so I wouldn't expect any kind of language selection yet. Okay, how are load times handled? Okay, I'm just cleaning up the post-its. Less interesting than mine. I get to play games. Yeah. Especially fun when, or I guess you could say awkward when I was working at the Fortune 2 company I was at before, because we would pull out video games at work and start playing them. And we were in cubicles and we were doing work. But we were always like, what's everyone gonna think about us? We're gonna be complaining that we're playing video games at work. But we were legitimately working. So there were some jealousy issues, and so we tried to like involve people when we could. But it does get awkward when you're like in an office setting. A lot easier when you're working from home. So how are load times handled? We will have to play it. See. Let's load something. I don't remember any of these slots, so I don't remember. But and I don't think there was any sound on that. So can I go back? Let's see. Of course, I did have the sound turned off, didn't I? Hold on, let me turn the sound back on. Okay, I'm gonna have to turn off the music to deal with that. Okay. I didn't hear any sounds, but there was a little indicator saying screen was loading. But no sound. Okay. No. I'll write that here. There's a loading indicator, but no sound. Okay. And can you pause cutscenes in the story? Let's see. Make sure you can see it. I have to go get to a cutscene, which here, let me just start a new game. The Phantom, this game was made by some people I know that they're an local indie game people here in the Houston area. So this is an alpha version of their game. Let's see. Audio is definitely a challenge. Big screen could use more sound adjustments, something for voices, and just wider volume range for the theater content. Yeah, and I really find the sound settings important because I guess I have really sensitive hearing or something. So sometimes what is very, very loud to me, other people can't hear. So it's an issue when I'm playing games. I have to turn games volumes down to like 4 out of 100 so that it's at a comfortable level for me. So the setting options are really important, at least for me, and for anyone with any kind of like hearing issues, audio impairment. Yeah. Let's start a new game here to see if can you pause in the cutscenes? I'm not expecting a lot out of, oops, I think I accidentally skipped it. I'm not expecting a lot out of an alpha version. No, I wasn't able to pause that. But again, I wasn't expecting to be able to on an alpha. So I'd also like a way to know how loud I am in multiplayer games. I have no way to hear myself. Yeah. Um yeah, I have to get people to help me with that. Um can they hear me? Can they not hear me? Because that's probably one of the reasons people can't hear me is because I'm so loud to myself that I'm talking lower than what I guess most people would because I can hear myself and I'm very, very loud to myself. It had something to do with sensitive hearing or something. I'm not sure. I just discovered this that it was even a thing recently because people were telling me my videos that I make are too quiet, and I'm thinking they're super loud. What are you talking about? um, so then I had to Google hearing. um, no, but it's is an alpha, so not expecting a lot. How did 2D games handle scene transitions? I think they're fade in, fade out. Or this, let's see. Because all the things that I'm double checking here are double checking how the things are very, very important for XR because they could cause motion sickness and so forth. So you want to make sure that you're making a comfortable experience for people. I get sick on 2D games like this one, first person shooters, things like that. If it's in first person or if it's a platformer where the camera is attached to the character, then and if I can't zoom out so that I have a wider view, then um, it makes me sick. I can't play them very long. Let me try to go in to see if there's a scene transition. I think a lot of people listen to loud music too much and ruin their hearing. If you haven't destroyed yours, basically you have superpowers compared to others. Yeah. I'm wondering if that's part of it. I don't know. Yeah, there's not a ton of... It's just fade in, fade out, same as the... I keep forgetting to show which screen because I don't have like an easy way of switching screens on the stream. I have to manually do it and remember. Screen goes dark. Loading indicator. I don't think there's sound. Okay, and those are specific to another game. So I think we're done with Mariposa. So I'll load up the next one, Jivana. Yeah, Jivana definitely has some accessibility settings. Yeah, they have some colorblind options. Yeah, you can choose by color blindness type. Cool. I think that's all their accessibility options. Oh, you can manually adjust reds and greens and stuff too. That's cool. That is all. Oh, in text size. Nice. And the contrast of the backgrounds. They've got some good settings. Color blindness. At font size. Audio. Contrast. Text background contrast. Individual colors. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Something people don't think about in game design is color blindness. It's a large number of people have color blindness that have difficulty with games and stuff because we're not designing them for it. Okay, so then chapter select. Yes, they have chapter selects. For sure. And then language select. Yes, they have language select. How are loads handled? Let's see.
Autrefois vivait une communauté dont la
It's a French
dévotion
game.
envers la déesse Jivana
A
était
very
sans
loud
faille.
French game. How is
À
that
l'aube du printemps,
sound to everyone
le
else?
rituel
I've got
destiné à
it
choisir
set
une
on
nouvelle
9.
prêtresse débuta.
It's so loud.
Devant l'autel, les villageois portaient leur choix sur Aélis, une adolescente dont la gentillesse n'avait d'égal que sa détermination.
Let me
Elle
actually
se
show
vit
it for
confier
you.
le
Hold
pouvoir
on.
divin de contrôler l'eau, source de toute vie. Un jour, des nuages noirs s'amassèrent dans le ciel jusqu'à former un colossal vortex. De son centre, un éblouissant rayon lumineux jaillit, dans un fracas assourdissant qui fit trembler la terre et les esprits. Sur son passage, il répandit la désolation et la peur. De crainte d'être à son tour emportée par le cataclysme, la communauté se vit contrainte à l'exil. Alma, l'aînée du village, évoqua l'existence d'une
Can you
cathédrale
pause this?
qui
Let me
aurait
see.
jadis préservé l'ancienne civilisation des pires calamités. Ils se mirent donc en route vers ce
I'm trying
mystique
different
édifice
buttons. I
dont la
don't see the
promesse de
option
s'éveiller
to pause,
en
but I see the
chacun
option to skip.
la flamme de l'espoir.
So I couldn't pause, but I could skip by holding down the space bar.
Le campement ne doit plus être loin.
So I'll go ahead and answer that one since I checked it. Can you pause cutscenes? No. No, but you can skip them. I didn't really see a load time. Let me... Is this gonna quit the whole game? Okay, good, because I didn't want to quit the whole game. That was one of the problems I had with this game, was they use the word quit too often. Okay, so it's all dark sound but no visual.
Déjà plus de 6 mois que nous sommes partis. Je ne vois plus le temps passer.
Les journées se ressemblent, pour sûr. Les enfants s'impatientent. C'est une épreuve qui
And I'm pressing buttons to see if I can pause. But no, I can't.
Evrard va avoir besoin de moi.
Can't skip either, so it's not consistent. Color blindness is interesting. I've used the GIMP image program to see how things look for the colorblind before. It has some filters. Yeah, the Mac, I really like how the Mac has this program called Sim Daltonism. I could type it in the chat here. Sim Daltonism. They don't have a version. They don't have a version on the PC, but they do on the Mac, and it just opens up this window that you can put over your entire display or whatever section and turn on different types of color blindness, and you can see your whole screen and work that way to see, instead of just having to take a screenshot and put it into another program. It just shows you an overlay, a window that you can see everything through, which is really nice. Saves time. Haven't been able to find anything anywhere as good on the PC. Let's see. The screen goes dark. No loading indicator, but there is sound. So these scene transitions are important in VR because I've done usability testing with people for VR, and that's where all this is coming from. And so whenever it goes dark but there's no sound, or it goes dark and there's no sound or something, people can sometimes think, oh, did it crash? And so we want to have good indicators to make sure that we're not breaking immersion, because they're wondering whether or not the whole thing crashed because everything went dark and black. These are all based on the best practices that I've written based on research. So that's what we're going to, is we're through right now, is we're doing more research to see if we can find more best practices, this time for platformers. Because this is the genre of platformers that I'm playing with right now. Okay, how are load times handled? This one was What is that? Okay, how did those are specifically for us two games? So I think I'm done with Jivana. So I'll switch to Trine. Okay, what were the questions? Specifically for Trine, how did they direct attention? Do they do any force panning? I don't think they do, but let's see. You don't want to force pan anything in VR. I think that I need to find a place that has a... I need to start over.
So the Trine had come for the heroes.
New spot.
And the adventure was ready to begin. Amadeus worried for his family, while Pontius looked forward to their new quest. Zoya, of course, imagined what fabulous treasure they might find.
So let's see. Can you adjust accessibility? So I need to check accessibility and directing attention. Can you pause or play cutscenes? Chapter select. Let's see. Choose restart level. So yes, you can do chapter select on things you've already played. Okay. So no spoilers. Yes on parts already played. Okay. Can you pause cutscenes? Let's check their accessibility and stuff. Again, very loud to me. See what I have it set on. Ugh, it's on 19. So loud. Okay, let's see if they have any accessibility options. They have language settings. You can adjust your volumes.
Wait here.
So I usually have to make the voice louder and turn down the music because it's so loud. Ambience has to go down and sound effects have to go down. And voice up so that I can distinguish it from, because everything's just so loud. It's good to have those options. The language. So you can do subtitles. And yes, the languages are in the language that they need to be. So that's... Like, the question was, is English in English and French in Francais? Or does it say French in English? Which is something that has actually come up. And it's not as big of an issue now as it used to be. Is it used to, whatever language you were in, English, for example, instead of saying Espanol, it would say Spanish, which isn't necessarily helpful to the person, especially when you get into other alphabets or writing systems, or the people who's trying to find the language that they're fluent in. So the check is to see if they're actually showing the language in the language. It used to be a much bigger problem than it is now. Let's see, that was... No, that was a question. Language. Okay, yes. That's a yes. And you can adjust sound. I'm gonna go ahead and answer it for these just so it's here. Okay. But they don't have any kind of color blindness settings or anything. They do have some good flexibility though. You can set it to hardcore mode or whatever.
First of the three heroes was Amadeus, a wizard. Not perhaps the bravest or the most powerful, but he was clever and sensible. Then there was Pontius the knight, fearless protector of the realm, who loved good food, drink, and battle. Last but not least was Zoya, a thief.
An entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur. She was mysterious and only seen as a passing shadow on a cloudy night. Amadeus the wizard was asleep in his cottage.
I'm pushing buttons to
The
see if
place
I
where
can
he could
pause.
study his fireball spell, hidden from the scornful eye of his wife.
You can skip. But I don't see a way to pause.
How very strange.
I need to find out if they're going to force pan anything.
Amadeus wondered if the bubble rising through the air was strong enough to carry him. There was only one way to find out. The path ahead was blocked, but this wouldn't stop the great wizard, Amadeus. With his magic, he could lift objects. Amadeus could also conjure boxes out of thin air.
We should be able to climb up that. Come on. Okay. Don't think it's force panning anything.
Through the forest, leading Amadeus further. Torn between fear and wonder, he followed.
I don't think it does force pan you though. I have gotten up that before. It does pan a little bit. Yeah. Okay. It does. Slightly, since it is 2D platformer, not a lot. And load times are fade in sound and fade in, fade out. There wasn't a lot of, I haven't come across a long load time on Trine.
I demand to know what's happening. The Trine. Not this again.
Oh yeah, there are some cutscenes where it does force fan you.
Get your things.
I remember now.
Save the kingdom. What? Oh, this won't do at all, Pontius. I've children waiting for me to come home. I can't leave. But your magics are needed. The kingdom is in danger. Will this nightmare ever be over?
Despite his reluctance, Amadeus knew that the heroes were needed once more.
How did you end up here?
Let me tell you. Pontius had headed out that evening, for there was trouble on the peasant farms. Creeping vines were taking...
Yeah, the load times aren't very long, so... Okay. It does pan. It does pan during cutscenes. And some slight panning during gameplay. Scene transitions. Scenes don't take long. It's more of a fade in, fade out with sound. No. You can't pause them, but you can skip them. And they use a book. Some of the story elements. Okay. Let's see. The Jivana does force pan on cutscenes. And during gameplay. And then Mariposa does as well, yeah. And then there were no color blindness options or text. I don't think there was text sizing or anything. I'm just, yes, nope. There was sound, but I already have that as a separate question. I think. Load times can you... Where'd it go? Yeah, there it is at the top. Okay. And I think that was all the questions for Trine. So now we'll go to Kokoro Clover. So there... Yeah. Okay. So now we'll switch to Kokoro Clover.
Over the fields.
Okay. Give me a minute while I switch to Kokoro Clover. I've told Jade about this game. So I think it's just a opening trailer. Yeah. So yeah, that is just an opening trailer. Okay. So the questions are, can you adjust sound settings in Kokoro Clover? Can you pause? I'm pushing buttons, I can't. Nope. I can. Apparently I skipped by accident. All I see are load scene is a little loading indicator with music. Okay. So how are load times handled? Okay. Screen goes dark. Loading indicator. Music. There's music. Can you pause the cutscenes? No, but you can skip them. So how do they handle the transitions? Is there forced panning? Yes. I believe there is. What were some of the other questions? Let's see. How do they handle scene transitions? And let's see. Yes, you can select your language, and it is in the right language. Yes, you can select chapters on all of it. Accessibility. Is there any accessibility? And can you adjust sound settings? How do they handle scene transitions? So let's look at options. Let's see. Oh, you can replay the opening cinematic. Okay. So you can rewatch it. Change borders. What are the border options? Ah. Huh. Okay. Okay, but there's no sound. No sound options. Okay. I feel like I'm gonna go deaf. It's so loud. What is it set on? 11. Can you adjust the sound settings? No. No, there's no accessibility options. So last thing to check is scene transitions. I don't think there are any. Well, I mean, well, it's so fast. It loads so quickly that we'll see. Yeah. I didn't even sense a scene transition. I'm not a witch, I'm a spirit summoner. What's the difference? I summon the power of spirits, therefore I'm a spirit summoner. The name. Feel a little hazy on what that means, I'll be honest. Dogs, perhaps we should get going. So yeah, I don't see any... It's like so fast. Oh, it's the fade in, fade out. That's it. Okay. Okay. Let's just fade in, fade out with sound. Okay. So it's about the same as that one. They don't take long because it is a 2D platformer. So it doesn't take long. Okay. Let me see real quick. They do pan because they have the character connected to the camera. But so there is a photo transition as well. Okay. Okay. Looks like he just got took over. Okay. And switch the screen again, sorry. So it's just... Let's see. Scenes don't take long to load. Fade in, fade out with sound, or a picture. Picture with logo. Okay. So that's it for the follow-up. I can go ahead and exit out of this one. So loud. Okay, back to music. Okay, so I've double checked all the stuff that I wanted to verify here. But then there were some. So now I can. So now I have this information that I can use. I will have to still do Moss and Ghost Giant, but I do have now this information that I can use on each of the games to write whatever report I want to write out of this research. So most likely I'm going to be writing a report on my findings of this and say, well, this is what I found from, these are the common problems that we're having with platformers out there right now. And if you're going to make one for VR, then you need to keep in mind this stuff. Motion sickness is the biggest issue with platformers. And how you mitigate that in VR is going to be the biggest issue. And you're going to have to think about how you would handle that in mixed reality, because the locomotion is not going to be the same for mixed reality. So you're going to have to move yourself, not the... so it's most likely going to need to be in third person for mixed reality. Unless you're going to teach people how to do parkour. Then have your legal team on hand to make sure that you don't get sued for that one. And yeah, so this is... Yeah, my next step for this would be to write, and I'm going to write an article. I'm not going to do it during the stream, but I'll write up an article on my findings from all the platformers, what we did, what we learned from it, what were the patterns that I saw in these games based on this research, and then this is what we need to think about if we're going to make a platformer in XR. And these are the best practices to study to learn more to make sure that you are creating a great experience for people without causing them to lose their lunch or dinner. And yeah, that'll be the next thing I do with this. And then next week we're gonna start a new series, a new genre, and we're gonna be doing training simulations. So look forward to that. So we're gonna start the whole process all over again with training simulations. So thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next week.